Hi everyone, welcome back to Nicely Soiled. This is Valentina and I'm here with the plants I'm going to show you today. This video is about the plants that I showed you on Instagram and you guys asked me questions. You are all plant lovers, so all your profiles are strictly related to plants. I would like you to use this video also as a way to follow each other. I will write your profile names here, so you can get to know many more people and be followed by many more people who love plants as much as you do. So watch until the end because you will make lots of new friends for sure. So the first plants that I would like to talk to you about are here to the left, but you will see many more uncommon plants as much as we go further this way. So I'm going to start with the pothos, which is one of the most common plants, but I would like to tell you a couple of things about them. And then as we move further, then you will see many more interesting plants. Let's get started. So here we are. So this is my pothos. It's quite long. I also have another one here. It's like pretty big. You can also see my cat. Ciao Cindy. So this remained a bit shorter. Don't ask me why. I have absolutely no idea why this is growing less than this one. This one especially, I got it from a long cutting, something like this more or less, with I would say at least 4 or 5 leaves. If you haven't seen the video on pothos propagation, I really recommend you do. I'll show you how to take care of your pothos and how to propagate it. It's a lot of fun. From one plant you can get like so many plants that you can give to your family and friends. If you want to have right from the beginning a vining plant, you can also do it, but I would recommend you give it more time and don't trash it right away, because sometimes if you have like longer cuttings, the plant may look as if it's going to die and it may look much weaker. This is because the roots have more difficulties in forming if the plant has to also sustain the leaves, but don't worry about it. Oh, I hear a question here. So first question asked from notes on this. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly. This person asks, what are these hanging pots? These hanging pots, that's a good question. These are kind of like tiny baskets without the hole at the bottom. So I know I'll have to be a little bit more careful with water, but that's not really an issue because give the right amount of water. I know my plants quite well, so it should be okay. So the first plant is this one. It's a tiny ginseng. This one. I mistreated it because I forgot to water it, but it's okay anyway. It's growing really well. I love the shape of this tiny plant. I only saw bigger versions until I found this one, and this was it. I bought it and I placed it here after some time. Then here we have a Peperonia Hope. This one, it grew quite a lot from the time that I bought it. And yeah, this is it. And then here we have an interesting plant. This is an Euphorbia millii. I got it from cuttings as well, from my parents' plant. These are the flowers. My parents' plant has bloomed, but this is very young because I took the cuttings, I would say something like 3-4 months ago, maybe 4. I think it has rooted because I could see already some growth here, so love it. I am very positive this plant is growing quite well. The first attempt I tried didn't work. What I did with this, I cut the branches that were not really useful to the mother plant, because you have to prune it once in a while, you have to, otherwise it loses strength. The branches, I didn't put them immediately in soil. I waited a bit longer so they could dry up, and then I planted them in soil. This is a tiny pot inside this one, and I water it once the soil gets dry. After some time, but I'm not too worried about keeping the soil wet all the time, as you should be doing with other cuttings from other types of plants. So this is okay. I mean, I wouldn't water it too much, really. And here above we have on my Moroccan mirror that I'm showing you here, we have a very beautiful Hoya, a Hoya carnosa variegata. It's the pink version, at least it used to be the pink version, but I think due to the lack of light, it's very, very nice. It has all the edges that are white here, and some of the leaves are entirely white, which are really pretty. I usually don't like white leaves, but I really adore it. With this you have to be a bit careful with water, don't overwater it. I created this tiny pot here made of moss, and I soak it in water once in a while, but this gets really, really dry before I water it again. So it's quite hard to underwater a Hoya, let me tell you. So this is really nice. If you're an underwater, then this type of Hoya, at least, will do very, very, very well for you. It has really thick leaves, so they're much more resistant. And what else? Oh, this is something that you can open, by the way. Yeah. Let me show you. If you open it, it becomes like, won't be able to see anything. And finally, moving on to the last part of the desk. Oh, I hear a question. Notes on Ansa ask me, how do you keep that beautiful wood safe from water stains from the pots? That's a very good question, a question that also my family asked me, and they recommended I varnish the wood. If you don't know my desk, it is basically a section of a wood. It comes from the idea that I had in my mind, and when I built my office, I decided to create it. I bought all the materials. If you want, I can make a tutorial on how to do it. If you haven't seen it before, I'll show it to you. I hope you like it. Basically, this is the desk. You see? And this is where all my plants stay. So what I would really recommend is that before you build it, you assemble all the parts, is you surface the wood and you have it varnished. You can do it by yourself or you can have it done as you prefer. Oh, another question. Unique botanist is asking me, where would you get the terrarium on the left? Here I have two terrariums. One is this one that I bought at Maison de Monde. You may not be able to see it well because it has quite a lot of humidity inside, and I should clean it, maintain it a bit more. And it's not a ready-made terrarium, it is a terrarium that I created by myself with the cork lid, and this is essentially where I keep my peperomias, basically. So yeah, most of my peperomias, I have a peperomia watermelon, I have another peperomia, I don't know the name, the peperomia rana verde, the peperomia polybotria. I have two actually, one is a cutting, this one is a cutting, this leaf, and so yeah. Oh, another question. YV Botanics is asking me, what are your terrarium care tips? My terrarium care tips would really require a new video, but I'm going to give you a brief summary of what I do. In my terrarium, I like to have some moss to retain humidity and give it balance. Then I would recommend you put some plants that are not too picky, or anyway that do not hate humidity, because plants that hate humidity really do suffer quite a lot, and that you don't overwater it, for sure. Overwatering a terrarium is a disaster because all the humidity remains there, since it's not really something that changes air quite a lot. It has to have like really the right amount of humidity. And what else I would say? Really careful when you open the terrarium, because if your plants are used to having high humidity and kind of like warmer air in their ecosystem, then if you keep it open for too long, then it may be a problem. And another problem, I would say, be a bit careful of mold, because terrariums may sometimes have mold, especially if some parts of the plant die and they go rotten. Then that is a very easy way to get mold in the terrarium. So make sure no parts of your plant are getting rotten. Then what would I like to show you? These are this is my opuntia, this is my wartia, and this is a super tiny cactus. I think I showed it to you in the plant haul. So if you want to see what plants I bought that day, I'll leave the reference to the video in the info box down below. This is a plant of coffee, Arabica. It requires a whole lot of water. It drinks quite a lot. So the other day I forgot to water it for some time. It's already dry again. Yeah. So this is a plant that likes water. If you're an underwater, then I don't know. But still, it's not too difficult to maintain. Not the green leaves. Here we have a Portulacaria afra variegata. It's not too common. I mean, it's a cutting from another plant. It's a new cutting. Here we have something undefined. I have no idea what it is. If you know, please let me know in the comments. But under the sun, where I got it from, it was under the sun, full sun. It had red edges. So I don't know if it's a crassula or maybe a calanchoi. I have no idea. Absolutely no idea. This is a Gasteria litroborti. It's not smooth, it's like with tiny little dots like coming out of the leaf. It's so nice. This is another opuntia that I found in the street, and also I found this in the street. It's very ugly, this cactus. I thought it would die, and I don't know, I picked it up. It's really ugly, but I keep it just in case. Maybe one day it will have children that are going to look much better than this. So this is something that... Then what do we have here? Here we have Mother of Thousands, many. I think this is a crassula. This is a Ripsalis that I got from a nursery. It was a cutting that fell from a plant. I asked if I could keep it, and they said absolutely no problem. So of course always ask before you take anything, but I knew that it would have gone in the trash, so so why not? And the Mother of Thousands is indeed a Mother of Thousands, because it already has little babies here. Whoop, you see? And these little babies are putting out new roots. Here. Grow Baby asks me, what are your hardest plants to care for? Good question. You may think it's the Calathea, but the Calathea, I wouldn't say that they are the hardest. They are the hardest to keep happy. Yes, I agree with you, one of the hardest here. But I've had many more plants that, you know, because at least you have buds in the Calatheas. While for others, once they die, they die. The Calatheas are not really dead, they have bulbs inside that then in the end grow back. Look at the growth here. They seemed all dead. They were all like this. You see, like these come out, but the bulb remains inside. So this doesn't look like a Calathea, but it's a super baby Calathea. You see here, it's starting already to have some purple here, and I like it. This is a Calathea Maui Queen, and it doesn't look like one, but very, very beautiful. I can create a video for you on the most difficult plants, in my opinion, but I would mention for sure the Azalea, because that gave me so many troubles. In my case, I have troubles with plants that require too much sunlight, because I don't have that much sunlight at home. I would say I had troubles with my Monstera. Well, I have mistreated it, but yes, that was something that gave me troubles. I'm rehabbing it, and I'll be careful, but still that's one of them. And if I can think of any other, I'll put them down in the info box, so you can evaluate if you want that plant for yourself or not. Moving on to the Aglaonema. It's so cute. It has like silver leaves. I really like them. They are in hydroponics. Sorry, semi-hydroponics, because I have put the expanded clay at the bottom with water and then the moss. So the moss will, by capillarity, absorb the water and will give enough water to the plant. It's doing really, really well. So I hope I'll have lots of roots. It is a cutting, by the way. It is a cutting. So I hope it's going to root well in these conditions. I think so. I've had it for quite some time and it seems very happy. At least I think. Another pothos. Love Plants 82 is asking me how big are those Calatheas. They are not enormous. This is the rattlesnake, and I'm very happy about the growth because this is giving me new growth. Love Plant 82, again another question. How do you know when they need repotting? How do I know when they need repotting? Basically, Calatheas, as I said before, are bulbs, and bulbs continuously get formed if the plant is healthy, so they multiply. When there are too many bulbs in one pot, you may need to separate them, otherwise there is like so much root present in the same pot that it may have troubles. Of course, it's a very delicate process. It may lose all the leaves, or the leaves can still be damaged, because I did it with also this one, with my Calathea majestica. It was already in a bit better conditions, as I was telling to you in the other video, in the rehab video, in the second video, part 2, but it will grow back, I'm sure. This was already in bad conditions, but it will grow back, and I have repotted it, so same thing, same hydroponic with the moss, and I don't know, I like this method quite a lot, so I'm thinking that I'll be using this much more than I used to, because it's so much more easy in terms of watering, because there is a lot of water here that doesn't really go directly like to the roots, soaking them. So I think the plants are pretty happy. So to answer the last question from Garden Care, save the best for last. Sorry, apologies for that, but yes. Have your Calatheas ever bloomed? No, they haven't. They have never bloomed. It's so difficult to keep a Calathea even alive and healthy and happy, that to have them blooming, I don't know. If you made it, you are a genius, because I don't think I'll ever make it, because they require so much humidity, they require the right temperature, of course no tap water, like so much to make them happy, that a bloom is indeed a huge plus. Like really, it would be, if you look online for pictures of flowers, Calatheas flowers, it's so difficult to find them. I mean, I made a research, and for some Calatheas I didn't even find one picture of the flower. So thank you for reaching the end of the video. I hope you will gain lots of new followers on Instagram, And yeah, please feel free to reach out to me for any further questions on anything that I may have missed. And I hope to see you subscribed to this channel, because that would help me a whole lot. I hope you will like the video, and I hope you will share my channel with as many friends as possible that love plants as much as you do. Have a very good time with your own plants, and see you in the next video. Ciao!